So, okay, we're live. Shabbat Shalom. We have a packed service today, even though it's not a packed house inside. Max, you could tell us how many people are watching online, but we have a lot to do because not only is it Shabbat, and it's in some sense the first Shabbat that we're back in the sanctuary in over a month because of all the high holy days. Last week we weren't physically in the sanctuary, although we got to do Adam from side angles for the first time since we've got new equipment here. Thank you to everybody who's making donations for that. But we have a lot to do today because today, this Shabbat, we read Noah's Ark. Last Shabbat we read the creation story, and you know it normally takes me at least 6 weeks to get just through day one. I tried to do it as quickly as I could last week for the sermon, but this week we still have to skip ahead. We're in Noah, and we get to talk about Noah, and the Torah portion starts with Noah and ends with Babel, the story of Babel. And I hope that you come to Torah study tomorrow because it's my favorite Torah portion to talk about, because I have a doctoral degree in linguistics, and I think that the story of the Tower of Babel is a story about languages in the world. And is it the story about how we got to speak lots of languages all around the world? And if so, it feels like it was a punishment that we got spread out and had to speak other languages and we couldn't understand each other. And that stresses this doctor of linguistics person, because it feels like it's a punishment to not be able to communicate with each other, and that God intended us to be separated and not communicate with each other. And that makes me sad, because my purpose of a doctoral degree in linguistics, it's my purpose about learning linguistics. It's not the doctoral degree so much, but it's about being able to communicate, is crossing those language barriers and crossing the cultural barriers and things, and understanding each other. So I look at this, and the story about this, the Babel story, is a really short story, and the words are very clear what they mean. And if all you do is take that story, it means something very different than what you learned about in your coloring book. And I just love looking at it, because I think it's fascinating what it says about language. So, having said that, we also have the Noah's Ark story. It starts with Noah and what kind of a guy he was. So I think we should, before we even get into Shabbat stuff, I think we should sing a Noah song, because we do. We got it? Except normally we have to stand up and do the hand motions. I don't know if I'm going to make anybody stand up and do the hand motions. If I can't do it, then you can't do it, so I don't know. A little too loud. The Lord said to Noah, there's gonna be a floody, floody. Lord said to Noah, there's gonna be a floody, floody. Get those children, and I need cymbals here. Do you have cymbals with you? Out of the muddy, muddy children of the Lord. Now normally we get really low and then everybody has to get up high and go, so let's all, and you have to do this dance like this. Rise and shine, thank you. And give God your glory, glory. Rise and shine, and give God your glory, glory. Rise and shine. Cymbals. Give God your glory, glory, children of the Lord. Okay, everybody can sit down again. So Noah, he built them, and Arky, Noah, he built them, and Arky made it out of cymbals. Hickory, barky, children of the Lord. So let's all rise and shine, and give God your glory, glory. Rise and shine, and give God your glory, glory. Rise and shine, and give God your glory, glory, children of the Lord. So what happened with the animals? The animals, they came on by twosies. All right, here's the problem with this song. Did the animals come in by twosies? Some came in twosies. Some came in by sevensies. Did you know that there were some animals that came in by sevensies, sevensies? The sevensies, sevensies ones are the ones that eventually turned out to be the kosher ones, the ones that we were going to be doing offerings of. Look it up. It starts with sevensies, actually. Twosies works better in the song. So let's start it again. The animals, they came on by twosies, twosies. Animals, they came on by twosies, twosies. Elephants and kangaroosies, roosies, children of the Lord. So let's all rise and give God your glory, glory, rise. Sorry.
Glory, rise.
Give
God the glory, glory, children of the Lord.
Hold on.
The Noah song gets me choked up too.
Are we on? So the part that I didn't get to reveal to everybody is I didn't know if it was broken yet, but my nose is broken. And part of being broken is that there's drainage. And so I forgot about that. So they came in twosies, elephants and kangaroosies, rise and shine, give God your glory, children of the Lord. That's where we were. It rained and poured for 40 daisies. What, daisies? Rained and poured for 40 daisies. Nearly drove those animals crazy, crazy, children of the Lord. Do you know how long it rained for? You know how long they were on the ark for? A lot longer than 40 daisies. So let's all rise and shine and give God your glory, glory, rise and shine. Give God your glory, glory, rise, shine and give God your glory, glory, children of the Lord. Finally, the sun came out and dried up the landy. Sun came out and dried up the landy. Everything was fine and dandy, children of the Lord. We're going to do it fast and get it over. So let's all rise and shine, give God your glory, rise and shine, give God your glory, rise and shine, give God your glory, children of the Lord. Now, this is the end of our story. This is the end of our story. Everything was hunky-dory, children of the Lord. How about the animals? They came off by threesies. Elephants and chimpanzees. No, that's why I sing it. That's why I was a popular song leader. We have fun with that. That's when you go to summer camp, a lot of times that's a morning song. It's because you want the kids like up and at 'em and doing a lot of calisthenic kind of things. Think of me as Jack LaLanne of the song leading group. That was one of the kinds of things we did. So we'll be talking a little bit more about Noah's Ark. We're blessing pets and those that are alive, those that are in need of healing, those that are no longer with us. I've got names from lots of people. Thank you to everybody who did not bring them with them today. I appreciate that. Mostly you. A little bit you. and thank you for, but I got a lot of names and I hope I didn't forget anybody. And if we did, we'll find a way to remember them. The website has been changed to include the blessing of the pets on it now, so you can get the blessings there if you didn't think about sending them today. And through the miracle of technology, after services, once we get to start that Zoom, we can still meet them all in person. So you could either show me a picture, or one of the best things that's come out of Zoom this year when we do our Zoom classes for kids is that you get to see the animals in their houses. And it is a ball getting to visit with them. It's just really fun. So we could do that during the Onek Shabbat today or during Torah study tomorrow. Meanwhile, speaking of, we're going to turn to page, we're in service 3 for anybody who's watching online, and you need to find service 3, and that means we start with page 82, and I ask everybody to please rise. And Max could switch cameras if he wants. Which camera are we on? Not that one. That one. So we read together. These lights are only flickering flames, yet flames illumine our uncertain steps. Flames remind us of Sabbaths long past and of their beauty that delighted our hearts. May they inspire us to work for the great Sabbath of peace. The blessing is going to say, we praise you, eternal God, sovereign of the universe. You hallow us, you make us holy by giving us your mitzvot, your commandments. You command us about kindling the lights of Shabbat, but we're going to do it in Hebrew. Brachi b'shamoy, brachi b'shamoy, brachi b'shamoy. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech ha'olam, asher kedeshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lehadlik ner, shel Shabbat. When you open your eyes, they are Shabbat lights. So you know what we forgot to do. I want everybody to say Shabbat Shalom to someone you came in with and someone you didn't come in with. Shabbat Shalom. And I need you to sit. I need you to think about this week. I can tell you where I was now. I was in the mountains in North Carolina. Max and I drove up to Highlands, North Carolina, and we could breathe. Even with a broken nose, we could breathe. It was in the 60s during the daytime, in the 50s at night. We sat out on a porch that was bigger than my office, and there wasn't enough phone reception or Wi-Fi to accomplish stuff on the computer or the phone. And we sat and we read and we talked and played games, and we could breathe. So I want to encourage everybody to breathe like it's 60 degrees outside and you're in a refreshing forest watching the trees change color. Take a deep breath. Let it out slowly. Do it again. Refreshing breath in. Let it out slowly. It's one of the ways I can tell my nose is broken, because every time I breathe, it's cold air coming through my nose. It's not comfy, but it's okay. We'll be better soon. So I would like us to look at the bottom of 83 and think about the fact that there are days when we seek material things and measure failure by what we do not own.
On Shabbat, we wish not to acquire, but to share.
There are days when we exploit nature with reckless greed.
On Shabbat, we stand in wonder before the mystery of creation.
The place where we were staying had what we were told were going to be water features. When I think of water feature, I think of like the thing we have hanging outside here, that you've got a little fountain inside your house. And we were told there were a number of water features in this house, and I'm thinking, well, that's kind of eccentric. It turns out that they have this sprawling property in the woods with lovely landscaping and streams running through it. I can't tell you if it was like a continuous stream or lots of little streams, but there were water features that you could turn the power on and off to, and it made the water flow, these little waterfalls and water flowing things in the stream. I thought that happened naturally. What did I know? But it was beautiful, magnificent, different kinds of benches at every turn, and it was beautiful and peaceful, and I hope that you can imagine it, whatever it is that you're imagining. I hope that you can imagine it, because I think that it feels a lot like peace, and I feel a lot like we stand in wonder before the mystery of creation. There are days when we think only of ourselves.
On Shabbat, we open our hearts to the needs of others.
Therefore, we welcome Shabbat, day of rest, day of joy, day of peace. And we welcome the angels that accompany us on Shabbat.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachei HaSharet, Malachei Elyon, Mi-Melech, Malachei HaMlachim HaKadosh, Baruch Hu, Bo Lachem L'Shalom. Baruchuni l'shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi melech Malachei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
When you leave in peace.
Tzedechem l'shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi melech Malachei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
The synagogue is the sanctuary, safe place of Israel. Born of our longing for the living God, it has been to Israel throughout our wanderings a visible token of the presence of God in our people's midst. Its beauty is the beauty of holiness. Steadfast it has stood as the champion of justice, mercy, and peace. Its truths are true for all people. Its love is a love for all people. Its God is the God of all people. As it has been said,
My house shall be called a house of prayer for all peoples.
Let all the family of Israel, all who hunger for righteousness, all who seek the eternal, find God here and here find life. Max, how many people do you have? Okay. It gives us a minion. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shmei Rabbah.
Amen.
V'yalma divrei chiruteh v'yamlich malchuteh b'chayechon uvyomechon uv'chayed chol Beit Yisrael ba'agala uvizman kariv v'miru amen yehesh merabah mevarach la'alam ul'almei almaya yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpahar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitalev v'yitalal shemeh tukudisha brichu leila min kol berchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata damiran be'alma v'miru amen. Baruchu et Adonai HaMevorach.
Baruch Adonai HaMevorach leolam va'ed.
Oh God, how can we know you? Where can we find you? You are as close to us as breathing, yet you are farther than the farthermost star. You are as mysterious as the vast solitudes of night, yet as familiar to us as the light of the sun. To Moses you said, "You cannot see my face, but I will make all my goodness pass before you." Even so does your goodness pass before us, in the realm of nature and in the joys and sorrows of life.
When justice burns within us like a flaming fire, when love evokes willing sacrifice from us, when to the last full measure of selfless devotion, we demonstrate our belief in the ultimate triumph of truth and righteousness, then your goodness enters our lives, and we can begin to change the world. And then you live within our hearts, and we through righteousness behold your presence. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Va'ed.
You may be seated. Think about what this one means in English. We're going to do it in Hebrew. If you want to do it in English, read the English. We're not going to do them both. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם אמת. אני אדוני, I, the Eternal One, have called you to righteousness, and taken you by the hand and kept you. I have made you a covenant people, a light to the nations.
We are Israel, witness to the covenant between God and God's children.
This is the covenant I make with Israel. I will place my Torah in your midst and write it upon your hearts. I will be your God, and you shall be my people.
We are Israel. Our Torah forbids the worship of race or nation, possessions or power.
You who worship gods that cannot save you, hear the words of the Eternal One. I am God, there is none else.
We are Israel. Our prophets proclaimed an exalted vision for the world.
Hate evil and love what is good. Let justice well up as waters, and righteousness as a mighty stream.
We are Israel, schooled in the suffering of the oppressed.
You shall not oppress your neighbors, nor rob them. You shall not stand idle while your neighbor bleeds.
We are Israel, taught to beat swords into plowshares, commanded to pursue peace.
Violence, which you know here is Hamas, shall no longer be heard in your land. Desolation and destruction within your borders. All your children will be taught of your God, and great shall be the peace of your children.
We are Israel, O God, when we are witnesses to your love and messengers of your truth.
Atem edai, you are my witnesses, says the Eternal One, and my servant, whom I have chosen. Know me, therefore, and put your trust in me.
We are Israel, O God, when we proclaim you, God, our Redeemer, as did our ancestors on the shores of the Red Sea. Ya la 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 la, ya la la la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la la la, ya la 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 la. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha neda b'kodesh, nora tehilot osefele, nora tehilot osefele. Ya la 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 la, ya la la la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la la la, ya la 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 la.
I feel like we should keep singing that. The rest of the service should be just to that melody, right? He giggled. May we lie down this night in peace and rise up to life renewed. O God, spread over us your sukkah of shalom, of quiet and calm, and bless us with rest. And let a time come when morning will bring no word of war or famine or anguish, a time of happiness, of contentment and rest. We're going to say a prayer for Jerusalem. Baruch atah Adonai, praise are you Adonai, haporeh sukkah shalom, the one who spreads a sukkah of peace, aleinu, on us, v'al kol amo Yisrael, on all of the people Israel, v'al Yerushalayim, and on Jerusalem. We give thanks for the night and its rest and the promise of peace for all the world. Bishameru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat לדורותם ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. כי 6 ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. So I have a story that I tell that's usually a Vahavta story, but it works for this too. Vishamru v'nei Israel, that the people of Israel shall keep Shabbat. So we are sitting here where we don't have a minyan online and we don't have a minyan in person, but you put them together and you get a minyan. And there are many more Jews than just 10 in all of Shreveport. And you wonder, when we say the people of Israel shall keep Shabbat, and not a lot of people of Israel are keeping Shabbat, what does it mean? And there was one day when I was sitting at my college campus, and we were saying the Vahavta, and I understood the Vahavta in a new way about, and you loved Adonai your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your being, and it was in the past tense. And sometimes when I think about where everybody is, are people keeping Shabbat? When we say the people of Israel shall keep Shabbat, are people keeping Shabbat? I can tell you that every single time I see somebody and they say, Rabbi, I know I haven't been the best Jew, I haven't been coming to services, and this is even before pandemic, I say, that's not what I think makes a good Jew. I love when you come because it means we get to see you, but it's not what I think makes a good Jew. We talked about lots of things already in our service. God calls us to be righteous people. That to me means more important. But why is it hard to just rest? I just came from a week of resting, and it's not easy to rest, but you get used to it. It's a nice thing. And it's not easy to rest every week, to carve out time every single week to try to rest. And I know that coming to services isn't always resting. That sometimes it's more stressful to get ready and get dressed and and be ready and the dinner and whatever. It's okay if people aren't coming. That doesn't bother me. But sometimes when I'm here and there are few people and you wonder, it says the people of Israel should keep the Shabbat, shall keep the Sabbath. That's a command, that they are supposed to do the Sabbath in every generation for all time. And when we keep Shabbat, God keeps us. And so I love Shabbat, and I love the fact that it says that on Shabbat, God rested and God was refreshed. And I sometimes wonder what it takes to remind people that that's what this is for, is a time to feel refreshed. So I invite you to please turn to page 93, and if you can, rise in body, and if not, in spirit with us, as we do the tefillah section of the service. Adonai sifatai tiftach ufi yagid tehilatecha. Eternal God, open my lips that my mouth may declare your glory. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu v'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, v'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Leah, v'Elohei Rachel, Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, v'Koneh HaKol, v'Zocher Chaste Avot v'Imahot, u'Mevi Geula livnei v'nehem, למען שמו באהבה, מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, Magen Avraham ve'ezrat Sarah, God of all generations, of Abraham and Isaac and Jacob, of Sarah, Rebekah, Leah, and Rachel, be praised. Your wondrous creative power fills heaven and earth.
God of life and death, be praised. Through us send help to the falling, healing to the sick, freedom to the captive. Confirm your faithfulness to those who sleep in the dust.
Awesome and holy God, be praised. With acts of love and truth we hallow your name. As it is said, Kedoshim Tehiyu, y'all be holy. No, what did we say? All y'all, be holy. For I, Adonai your God, am holy.
God of times and seasons, be praised. Enable us through Sabbath rest to explore and learn and impart the meanings of your Torah. Make our hearts ready to serve you this day and all days.
You want to sit down? You can sit down. I'm staying standing. God who answers prayer, be praised. May we, your people Israel, be worthy in our deeds and our prayer. Wherever we live, wherever we seek you, in this land, in Sion, restored, in all lands, you are our God.
Source of life and its wonders, be praised. You are the miracle within all we behold. You are goodness, you are compassion. We give thanks to you forever.
And we're going to sing this next paragraph in Hebrew about peace.
Shalom Rabba Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rabba Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Ki atahu melech adon lekol hashalom. Shalom, Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. V'tov benecha levarech et Amcha Yisrael b'kol עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam.
My favorite part. You get to say the words that are in your heart, and we all get to pray silently. יהיו לרצון אמרי פי והגיון ליבי לפניך. אדוני צורי, אדוני V'gohali, v'gohali. The notes were there somewhere. Got it. At this time in our service, our hearts and our prayers turn to those who are ill or recuperating as we turn to the inside back cover of our prayer book. And included in our prayers are, maybe we'll just make this a separate section. If you have someone for whom you would like us to be praying, I invite you to call out some names. For all these names, for the names we choose to hold in our hearts and not say out loud, we pray together. O God, in our hearts we name those who are facing illness and pain. We join our prayers with the prayers of all who love them. Give them renewed comfort and courage. Strengthen in them the healing powers you have placed within us all. Guide the hands and hearts of those who are entrusted with their care. May the knowledge of your love and ours give added hope to them and to their dear ones. May they find even greater strength because our prayers are linked to theirs. Baruch atah Adonai, Rofei Cholim. We praise you, eternal God, the source of healing and health. Mi sheberach avotenu mikor habracha. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Mi sheberach imotenu mikor habracha leavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen. And we add to that, on this page, here we go. On behalf of our military, police, firefighters, EMT, doctors, nurses, and veterans, Misheberach avotenu v'imotenu, may the one who blessed and protected our ancestors guard all those whom we've entrusted with the responsibility of defending our freedom, protecting us, healing us in this country, in the land of Israel, and everywhere they've been called to serve. Give them courage to succeed and strength to persevere. May they return home safely, and let us say Amen. Now, I want to add these other people, or not people, these other family members to the list of people we're going to say blessings for. These are the people, I hope I got everybody, who sent me names of their animal family. Ron has the turtle known as Mr. Turtle, and the cat known as Galileo or something like Smuncher, Smincher, something like that. Marcy and Eric have Chloe and Winston, their dogs. The Dodsons have Bailey, who is a dog. The Dodsons also have Dark Blueberry, who is a fish. I'm going to try to see if you can guess what kind of animal they are. Liz Ehrlich Govinder has Pepper Govinder, who's a Labradoodle. Kathy has Buddy, who is a dog. It's a what? It's also a Labradoodle. The Lawrences have a cat named Coco. And Karen has two cats. One is Shadow and one is Jean Lafitte. Marla has dogs by the name of Lola and Gus. Elaine has a dachshund who is 11 years old and is named Oliver. Adam has a Siberian Husky named Bentley and a Pit Bull Terrier mix named Lizzo. They're fairly precious. And a friend Robert has a dog named Bodhi. And if I forgot somebody, I'm very sad. I didn't mean to forget anybody. I think I collected them all. Next time I'm going to ask for them in a more unified way. I do have other names to list in our memorial section. And I'm sorry I couldn't let everybody bring all the animals in here today. And I'm also sorry that there's no school this weekend. There's no religious school this weekend. Only a little sorry because I didn't want kids to see me like this. But we've done it where it was really fun to have the animals. We've had everything from snakes to horses, and sometimes pictures of animals. Someone in our congregation, some of my favorites, someone has a chicken named Nugget. That's my favorite part of it, that its name is Nugget. And anyway, we have lots of animals in our congregational family. You know that there are lots of reasons in the Torah that we're supposed to take care of our animals. It's part of what I love about being Jewish. And when I talk to kids about, what mitzvot there are, what commandments there are about animals, they're shocked. For example, one of my favorite ones, and I put this on our new webpage, and I'll add more, is that you're supposed to feed your animals before you feed yourself. And most people do it. They don't realize that it's a commandment. They do it, and they do it because the animals are, they can't eat until you feed them. So it's kind of not fair to make you eat, to make them sit and watch you. But there are lots of wonderful commandments about animals. Excuse me. Thanks to a conversation that Jerry and I had in the sanctuary the other day, as in the middle of services, I decided not to bring the book, but to bring everything I need to know I learned from Noah's Ark. This is a 2x2 pair of 10 lessons from Noah's Ark. These are anonymous authors that were compiled from around the internet. I've seen a few different rabbis do them. This one says, Noah's Ark teaches us things like, don't miss the boat. Remember that we're all in the same boat. That was a really big one during COVID. Plan ahead. It wasn't raining when Noah built the ark. I like that one, although how? Stay fit, because when you're 600 years old, someone may ask you to do something really big. That's in honor of somebody's birthday this year. You're not turning 600, but he is staying fit. Always live a righteous life. Even if you're the only one, it will be noticed. Because one of the things that happens about notice, it said that he was righteous in his generation. It's not clear if that means that he was like super duper righteous, that he would be righteous anytime, or if everybody was so terrible around him, he wasn't that great, but he was better than they were. Because remember when God spoke to Abraham 10 generations later, just 10 generations later, and said, I think I'm going to destroy these little cities. And they weren't even cities that Abraham lived in. Abraham said, he challenged him and said, well, would you destroy the whole city if there were righteous people living in the city? And God said, of course not. And it's not clear whether Noah ever said, hey, are you going to destroy all the people and all the animals? Because what if there were some good people in the world? Are you going to destroy? We don't know if he ever said it. So live a righteous life. How about don't listen to critics? Just get on with the job that needs to be done. Oh, that's a good one. How about, this is the word that's written there, so forgive me. When the doo-doo gets really deep, don't sit there and complain. Shovel. Build your future on high ground. Maybe. It's a good idea for us. For safety's sake, travel in pairs or sevensies by sevensies. If you have to start over, it's good to have a friend by your side. I like that. Then it says that it also teaches us, so that was 10. These are 2x2s, so it's another 10. Listen to what God tells you. Your life might depend on it. Ouch, sorry. How about 2 heads are better than 1? Take care of your animals as if they were the last ones on earth. Oh. Speed isn't always an advantage. The snails were on board with the cheetahs. How about when you're stressed, float a while? That's easy to say when you're not from Louisiana. That's a little bit harder to say from here. How about finish what you start? I love this one. Remember, the Ark was built by amateurs, but the Titanic was built by professionals. I love that one. I mean, I'm sad about it, but I also love it. And then again, it says, don't forget that we're all in the same boat. And then it says, no matter how bleak it looks, when you're with the Holy One, there's always a rainbow waiting. I don't always get to see it, but I know it's there. You ever have those days? I mean, it rained a bunch while we were gone, and the clouds would be gray, and they would be parting in just the right way, and you know it's there somewhere. But one of the things that hit hard was I couldn't turn my head very quickly, so it's there somewhere. When the Holy One has brought you safely through the storm, don't forget to praise and thank God. That's what we're doing here today. So those are those lessons. But I was supposed to do this before we even did that. I have the blessings for the pets. I have two kinds. I have this. We hear in Genesis chapter 9, behold, I establish my covenant with you and with your seed after you, and with every living creature that is with you, the fowl, the cattle, and every beast of the earth with you. I love that God made us responsible for taking care of the animals of the earth. How often is it, though, that it feels like they're taking care of us? But I love that we're taking care of them. And we have to do a little bit better job of taking care of them, I have to say. But we have this blessing for our animal friends. Praised are you, Adonai, our God. In your infinite wisdom, you created the universe and blessed us with living creatures. We especially thank you for entrusting us with our pets, our friends, who bring us so much happiness and whose presence very often helps us to get through trying times. Please bless our pets with health and long life, and make us a responsible steward of God's creatures. May we continue to give each other joy and be reminded of their love and reminded of God's love. As our pets trust us to take care of it, help us remember to trust in God to take care of us. For in so doing, we share in your love for all your creatures. And we remember, too, all endangered species. We ask your help in taking care of them, so that we may continue to appreciate all of your creation. And I only saw 4 typos in that one. And then we have, on the other side, which you can get all these on the website, a prayer I like to call Petach Libi, because get pet, but Petach Libi means open my heart. Misheberach et kol yitzirav, may the one who blesses all creation bless and protect our dear pets. May they be safe and healthy. May they have happy lives. May we continue to enjoy our companionship with them. Thank you, God, for having them in our lives. Petach libi, open our hearts. Open my heart, it says. Petach libenu, I'll say. Open our hearts, that we may always be sensitive to their needs. And always remember that we've been commanded to be God's partner to take care of all the animals of our world. And we say, Amen. And I still have more names to read at the end of this, but we also, Elliot, I think you're our only birthday boy this month that's here, so you get to take home 8 mugs. No, you can have 1 mug, though. And if you stand up, we would like to bless you. Can you join us toward the front? Stand, grab a mug, and we will say a blessing for you. Thank you for sharing your birthday month with us. That means a lot to us. These are really lovely coffee mugs. They're gorgeous. Actually, if you don't already have one of these, they're really gorgeous. So we say, God of days and years, author of life, our times are in your hand. We thank you for the blessing of life and for all that enriches our lives. We gather today in special thankfulness to share in the happiness of our friends. Be with them always as the joy of their life. May they always be blessed with health and happiness, and with the strength to overcome sickness and sorrow. May we have the joy of coming together for many more years, united by mutual reverence and love. Then will our lives be filled with abundance of blessing. Would you lead us in a Shakhyanu? Go ahead. What's your favorite melody for Shakhyanu? Regular? Just a regular Shakhyanu? Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Shakhyanu v'kiyamanu v'higianu lazman hazeh. I suspect that's the kind of thing you might have written once. Have you ever written a melody to Shakhyanu? Which one? I have an envelope filled with songs that you wrote for here. I want to go through them with you at some point. Maybe we can have a Sing Elliot's music night. I would love that. I would love that. So on your birthday, as your birthday present, I'm going to say, we're going to sit down, we're going to find a time to sing through your songs, okay? Everybody heard me say it, okay? I would really love to do that. Whatever that means, even if you get to do solos for all of them. However we wind up doing it, but I would love to do that. A second musical? That's exciting. So we have incredibly talented people, but happy birthday, Elliot, because he's one of the most talented musicians and singers and songwriters I know. So thank you. Thank you. Happy birthday. Yeah, Mea Schwanzig, we say, that you should live to be 120, and then we say, you should live to be like 120 in at least a day. It's not like I want you to hit 120 and just stop. I want you to keep going. You could live to be as long as you need to, but I would love to see you hit 120-ish. Healthy and happy like Moses. Healthy and happy. Next year. All right, that's a good reason, a really good reason to celebrate. God willing, that's awesome. What do they say? There's not the Abraham Lincoln one. There's one in the Torah about fourscore. All right, so now we need, I need you to please turn to page 100. I think I covered everything, right? We did birthdays, we did pets so far. We got more. Page 148, please rise for the Aleinu. Wow. 148. Aleinu l'shabeach la'adon ha'kol, la'tet gedula le'aser bereshit, shelo asanu kegoye haratzot, velo samanu kemishpachot ha'adama, shelo sam chelkeinu kahem, vegor aleinu kekol hamonam, va'anachnu koreim umishtachavim umodim lifnei melech malachei hamlachim hakadosh baruch hu. On the facing page, we're going to continue and we are going to sing. V'ne'emar v'haya Adonai lemelech al kol haaretz bayom hahu yeh Adonai echad u'shemo echad. When the ark is closed, you may be seated. It's happy and sad to see the Torah is not in white anymore. A whole month we got used to that. We continue on page 151. Our thoughts turn to those who have departed this earth, our own loved ones, those whom our friends and neighbors have lost, the martyrs of our people, and those of every race and nation whose lives have been a blessing to humanity. As we remember them, let us meditate on the meaning of love and loss, of life and death. And I'm going to tell you, after a vacation, even if it included a fall, the one on page 151 gets to me. The contemplation of death should plant within the soul elevation and peace. Above all, it should make us see things in their true light. For all things which seem foolish in the light of death are really foolish in themselves. To be annoyed because someone has slighted us or has been somewhat more successful in social distinctions, pulled himself somehow one rung higher up the ladder than ourselves, how ridiculous all this seems when we couple it with the thought of death. To pass each day simply and solely in the eager pursuit of money or fame, this also seems like living with shadows, when one might take one's part with realities. Surely, when death is at hand, we should desire to say, I have contributed my grain to the great store of the eternal. I have borne my part in the struggle for goodness. And let no man or woman suppose that the smallest social act of goodness is wasted for society at large. All our help, whatever it be, is needed. And though we know not the manner, the fruit of every faithful service is gathered in. Let the true and noble words of a great teacher ring in conclusion upon our ears. The growing good of the world is partly dependent on unhistoric acts, and that things are not so ill with you and me as they might have been is half owing to the number who lived faithfully a hidden life and rest in unvisited tombs. We continue on page 153. However brief may be our time on earth, O God, you endow our fleeting days with abiding worth. We now recall the loved ones whom death has taken from us. We remember the congregants' parents who died within the past 11 months. We remember Joseph Paris, Artis Robison, George Rothkopf, Henry Brenner, Ron Riley, and Fred Phillips. And as we remember those who died at this season in years past, we take them into our hearts with our own. Those for whom we're observing Yortzites this week include Ed Anderson, Joe Batt II, Lily Muslow Black, Max Dover, Claudia Goodman, Benjamin M. Goodman, Ann Grunis, Nikki Hayes, Dr. Arthur A. Harold Jr., Sophia Lipo, Libby Shapiro Lipson, Louis Rosenfeld, Lee Siegel, Herbert Seligman, Doris Zuzak. We also have the names of these pets that we've been asked to remember during this time. We're remembering Scooter and Hopscotch. We're remembering Gracie, Tinker, and Judge. We're remembering Abby, and we're remembering Maisie. In this moment of memory, our griefs and sympathies are mingled. Loving God, we rise as together we praise your name. The Mourner's Kaddish is found on 154. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, be'alma divra chiruteh v'yamlich malchuteh, v'chayechon u'v'yomechon u'v'chayei d'chol Beit Yisrael, ba'agala u'vizman kariv v'imru amen. Yeheh shemei Rabbah mevarach la'alam u'lalmei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yithadar v'yitaleh v'yithalal shemei d'kudsha v'richu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, da'amiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yeheh shalama rabba min shemaya, v'chaim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'imromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. May the source of peace send peace to all who mourn, and may we be a comfort to all who are bereaved. Amen. You may be seated. And I need Kathy to come up. You don't want to come up? Yeah, we need to. You want me to tell you? I forgot. I knew I forgot something. But let me tell you, this is important. The regular stuff is happening, nothing very extra. We will have a Zoom Oneg Shabbat today at about 7:30. You know how to get to us on Zoom. Tomorrow, Torah study and morning service is on Zoom. We had thought to have it in person, but I canceled the Kiddush Shabbat because I didn't want the kids to see me like this tomorrow. It may be even worse next week. I don't know. I thought I was right nailing it. And that donations were made to B'nai Zion for the flowers in loving memory of Sophie Lipo by Debbie Lipo Ziegler, and in loving memory of Libby Shapiro Lipson by Susie Robison. And in the words of our president, Kathy Plant, please stay safe for your sake and for the sake of those around you, and encourage those you know to do their part as well. And we say Shabbat Shalom. Thank you for that. You have an idea of what you would like to sing for a closing song, sir? You want me to do something? I haven't played in a really long time, and I was trying to think about what songs we would like to do. I know what your favorite song that I do is, and it's really fun, and we could do this one because the Vice President, Sam, likes to say it's kind of sad when we end our service on a sad note. So what if we take it into this? I was going to do a new one. Bim bum biddy biddy bum biddy bim bum. Shh, but you have to say shh. You have to do the shh. Ready? It's not so easy to do with your finger and in front of your mask, but you're going to have to do this. Bim bum biddy biddy bum biddy bim bum. Shh. Bim bum biddy biddy bum biddy bim bum. Shh. Bim bum biddy biddy bum biddy bim bum. Shh. Bim bum biddy biddy bum biddy bim bum. Shh. Bim bum biddy biddy bum biddy bim bum. Shh. Bim bum biddy biddy bum biddy bim bum. Shh. Bim bum biddy biddy bum biddy bim bum. Shh. Bim bum biddy biddy bum biddy bim bum. One more time, faster. Bim bum biddy biddy bum biddy bim bum. Shh. Bim bum biddy biddy bum biddy bim bum. Shh. Bim bum biddy biddy bum biddy bim bum. Shh. Bim bum biddy biddy bum biddy bim bum. Shh. It's called a nigun. It's just a melody, and hopefully it takes the inspirations that you've gotten from the service into your week with you. Please rise for the closing benediction. It is a blessing to be here together. Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha. May God bless you. May God protect you. Yair Adonai panav elecha v'choneka. May the light of God's face shine upon you and be gracious to you. Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. May God's face be lifted up to you. May God grant you shalom, peace. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom. Thank you, everybody. Bim bum biddy biddy bum biddy bum biddy bim bum bim bum.